Hey,
Hey
friend.
friends. My name is Muna,
And I'm Queenie.
and this is a Kikeen podcast, a mastermind between friends.
Here we'll discuss all things self care, self awareness, and all that amazing stuff in between.
We are two like minded women in our individual journeys that happens to be very aligned. So we decided to come together and share our experiences and knowledge with you all.
Yes.
Let's get started.
Level up. Level up. Okay,
All
no.
right. Hey, friends. As
Hey,
Queenie levels up.
friends.
Hey. So Kikeen is about self care and self awareness. So to me, I think this is a great addition to the podcast information to share because for me, part of self care is my brain, making sure that I take care of my brain, how it works, and the way I'm thinking, whether it's to learn different ways to think and different ways to look at things, different perspectives. And your brain, I mean, I don't know how else to kind of emphasize how important it is to take care of your brain when you do that. That is self care in itself, whether it's just really learning how it works, how there's this thing that is with me all the time. How does it work? So learning about anything in cognition, cognitive biases, anything about your brain, I think is self care. For me, I don't know, Queenie, how about you?
Yeah, I
Any-
happen to love my brain. So anything, despite the fact that I, every once in a while, it helps. I
it's just the way you
do.
said it. I don't know why I love my brain.
I
Duh.
love my brain. I don't know about you. No, but
I'm gonna
honestly,
let you talk. You're making me laugh.
honestly, like cognition is very important. Neuroscience is very important. Your brain is like what helps you function, what it tells your body what to do. So, like, I think it's very, very important to know the inner workings of it and how you can easily be like tricked. But yeah, it's very important. Brain health is like it's key. Gut and brain all day. Team
Hmm.
brain and gut.
Yeah. So I guess just to give y'all a quick clue, the definition of cognition on Google.com is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thoughts, experience, and senses. And another one is a result of this, a perception, sensation, notion, intuition. So our cognition helps us have perceptions, things that we think, and our intuition, we're like, oh, I feel it in my gut. Sometimes your gut may be fooling you. So yeah,
Especially if
yeah.
you're not detoxing it. Mm.
Exactly.
Hey guys, Practical Psychology here, and in this video we're going to be talking about 12 cognitive biases. Most of these were researched by Ismanoff TV, who has some great animations on topics like these. Another self-developmental one is anchoring bias. We humans usually completely rely on the first information that we receive, no matter how reliable that piece of information is, when we take decisions. The very first information has tremendous effect on our brain. For instance, I want to sell you a car, and you are interested to buy it. Let's say you ask me what the price is, and I tell you $30,000. Now, if you come back a week later and I say I'll sell it to you for $20,000, this seems like a new, very cheap price to you, right? Because your judgment is based on the initial information you got, which was $30,000. You feel like you're getting a great deal, but let's say the first time that you ask me and I say $10,000, and then you come back the next week and I tell you I'm going to sell it to you for $20,000. Now it doesn't look like a very good deal because of the anchoring bias. This is just a very generic use of the anchoring bias, and I don't want a bunch of comments about why a $30,000 car should be sold for $10,000, but another example is trees. What if I asked you if the tallest tree in the world was higher or lower than 1,200 feet? And if so, how tall? The same effect occurs if I ask you to guess out of thin air instead of giving you an anchor of 1,200 feet. The results are crazy.
So yeah, anchoring biases. It yeah. You know what it reminds me of? When say people are how some people one way is how it could be a situation and based on how you learn about it and how somebody else is being told about it, it could be two different point of views. I don't know if that makes sense.
Like when I come to you and I'm like, so and so did this to me, but not telling you like, oh, I did that first. So you're like, so and so's a mother
Exactly.
effer. Yeah.
Exactly. So anything else that they do, I would just look at it in that point of view, like, oh, well, they did this first, and now, of course, they're more
Hmm.
likely to do that because I already know they did this to this person, you know, based
Exactly.
on what you already know. So you're not even thinking outside of what this first person already told you about them is what's kind of making you see this person in a bad way.
That's very true.
But all along, I could be wrong. All along.
Guilty of
And this
of
works really well
those.
in marketing, when we go shopping.
Yes.
When you go shopping a lot, and this thing is on sale. They put a price in. The price was never there, but they want you to look at that price so that way you can think, wow, it was so much more expensive. Now that it's a discount,
Right.
it must be worth it. So this definitely works in social situation or even in situations, let me see, based on what you already know, I can think of even for yourself, right? Say if you already had an experience on, let's say, being nervous of speaking publicly, you know, when you were younger, you were just in high school, you had something happen where you were embarrassed and you were speaking publicly. So you have that experience based on what's already happened. You already know this. So next time when you have to speak publicly, let's say 2 years from now, you're much more likely to be a little more nervous, thinking you're going to get embarrassed again, versus actually like, you know what, it's a different time.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, like that's anchoring bias right there. Something already happened, you have this information, therefore everything else outside of that will be based on that.
Right.
Unless you purposely decide to realize, you know what, it's a different moment. Like
Right.
these two things are separate. Like you have to realize that it's not connected.
That's very, very true. And that happened to me when I did my very first solo ever in my life. I cracked a note and that killed my entire dreams of being a singer. To this day, I'm still nervous to sing in front of people. And that happened when I was 11. So there's my
Jeez.
anchoring.
There we go. You see, whole time it's just
Let's move on when
it
I'm
happens.
depressed.
It happens. It's just like I was biased. Oh yeah,
I was. I cried. I was like, I
basically.
ruined the play.
Oh, no, you say it.
Number 2, availability heuristic bias. People overestimate the importance of information that they have. Let me give you an example here. Some people think that terrorism is the biggest threat to the United States because that's what they see on TV. The news always talks about it, and because of that, it inflates the danger. But if you look at the real perspectives, televisions cause 55 times more deaths than terrorism. Yes, TVs literally fall on people and kill them 55 more times than terrorism. You are more likely to be killed by a cow than a terrorist, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. It's more likely to die from a coconut falling on your head and killing you than a terrorist attack. Thank you, Gary Vaynerchuk, for that one. Even the police that are hired to protect you from terrorists, it's estimated that you are 130 times more likely to be killed by the police than by a terrorist. That's because people do not make their decision based on facts and statistics, but usually they make it on news and stories and stuff they hear from other people. It's way scarier to die from a terrorist attack than a falling coconut, and because of this, usually the news won't cover it because there's not much money in it.
All right. Let me bring him
Your
back.
head and killing you than a terrorist attack. Thank you, Gary Vaynerchuk, for that one. Even the police that are hired to protect you from terrorists, it's estimated that you are 130 times more likely to be killed by the police. There's not much money in it.
Yeah. This obviously, I don't if you ever a person who watches the news, you ever even looked at the news, or even social media is part of it. It's basically like the more you are around something, the way I'm seeing is like the more you're around something, the more it seems like that's what's really happening. Like social media, actually, because sometimes, okay, when there's a news or something that's happening, breaking out online, for me, I
Mm-hmm.
remember like a moment where if I'm around other people who are following it too, I'm just wrapped up mentally thinking like, oh, everybody else must know what's going on. But then you ask somebody who hasn't even checked their phone, they're like, wait, what happened?
Right.
What's going
Like
on?
that's
Here
me
you're thinking like,
every
oh, that's
day.
all what's happening.
Oh my God. It's so true. And it's what's provocative. Like, if it's something that's gonna grab your attention, like for example, on a
Hmm.
more serious note, like no, there could have been a person that was killed by police brutality, but then far out somewhere else on the other side of the world, a bomb exploded and there was a North American citizen there. Forget about what happened in North America. They're going to talk about the bomb that exploded and how this must be a threat on America. And everyone's going to be watching the news. Like, something like that. That's my take on it. Because it's like, what's the bigger story? They're always going to go for the bigger story, the thing that's going to get the most eyes, unfortunately.
Okay. Which is the shocking one. I mean, it kind of like also goes along, reminds me of how people tend to think towards the negative a lot more. So that's what attracts us to those kind of things.
Yes.
That kind of content, So even within ourselves, I mean, notice how I can say for me, I've had dialogue in my head that's like, why are you thinking this way? Very negative way. You actually stop and listen, because we're just naturally wired to think that way. I mean, it's a defense mechanism because the more you are aware of what could go wrong, of the bad things, you think that, okay, I'm better prepared to react to it. So it's constantly got to keep those things in mind. Your mind is just like looking for the negative, searching for it instead.
I hate that. But yes.
Yeah, that's sounds like kind of what it's feeding, this heuristic bias is. It's feeding towards that.
Feeding fear.
Exactly. Feeding fear all the way.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy stuff makes your brain a little happier for some reason.
Endorphins.
Yeah, for some reason we're just that trauma just makes us happy.
That sounds like trauma bonds to me.
Cool. Number 3 is the bandwagon effect. People do or believe in something not because they actually do believe it, but because that's what the rest of the world believes in. In other words, following the rest without thinking. If you've ever heard someone say, well, if your friends jump off a bridge, would you? Then that someone is accusing you of the bandwagon effect. It happens a lot with us. I mean, a lot of people vote for a certain candidate in the election because he's the most popular, or because they want to be part of the majority. It happens a lot in the stock market too. If someone starts buying a stock because they think it's going to rise, then a lot of other people are going to start picking the stock as well. It can also happen during meetings. If everyone agrees on something, you are more likely to agree with them on that object. Because if 9 out of 10 people agree on something, but the last person doesn't and won't speak up, it could squelch a great idea.
Let me tell you about this bandwagon effect. I loved the Toronto Raptors forever. I've always had faith in them. They've always been my team. Toronto till I die, right? Everybody's like, the Raptors suck. They shit on them every chance they get. Well, would you have it that in 2019, the most epic year ever, on my birthday, our Raptors won the championship on my birthday. I'm just saying. Anyhow, but it's so funny because as they were winning these rounds in the playoffs, all of a sudden Toronto loved their team, and it's like, like that, like everybody, because there was a nice group of people.
Loyalty.
Girl, yeah, it's loyalty, but it's like you wasn't with them shooting in the gym though. You didn't like them.
I was looking for.
So yeah, that I understand this bandwagon effect. It's actually funny. But I will say that I pray that people have a bandwagon effect with me. Like when I get popping, I want everyone to be like, but I love her. Me too.
Yeah. Just hop on this train.
I'm all for it. If it's my wagon you banding on, let's go, baby. Or is it my band that you're wagging on?
She said if it's her wagon that you're getting on, hop on, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, she gonna drag that wagon.
That shit is straight facts.
Yeah,
kids do this a lot too, because kids.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord.
Kids are the worst with it. My nieces, I love them to death, and I love that they love each other to death. They're obsessed, but they bandwagon each other and they fight. It's like they bandwagon in one brain. And I'm like, my brain. That's cute. Like, oh, I want this too. I want this too. So don't you dare, like, oh my god, if you get something and then one is a different color, they're gonna fight for that one other one that's one color. No, I want the pink one. No, I want the pink one. Nobody wants the blue one, or nobody wants the purple one.
Until the other one goes, you know what? Fine, I'll take the purple one. No, I was looking at that.
Exactly. You said it.
Yeah. These babies.
So I think those are babies example, but y'all adults, you do that too. And I'm gonna say y'all, and I'm part of y'all. Yeah, we do that too. I mean, think of it from the lowest grade of our physical self, thinking with that brain. When think about how much, let me not say, but I'm when somebody gets taken off the market, don't you usually feel like, as far as dating, right? It's like, oh, when I have somebody now, people are looking at me. I don't know.
Girl,
That's not
it's
bandwagon. No, no,
actually
no.
crazy.
Is that kind of
It's
bandwagon effect? It's like they all of a sudden
it's
look
a
more
unconscious,
attractive.
it's an energetic bandwagon. It's a
Yeah, it's the
pheromonic,
energy. It's just like, oh
a
wow,
pheromonal
they are.
bandwagon. They smell your
Yeah.
pheromones acting up. They're like, oh, I think I want you again.
Like, I want
I
them
think I
too.
want you
It's
too.
like,
No, I
hmm
want her first.
hmm
Yeah, I feel
I
that.
mean, yeah. And on the mental sense, self-care sense, for me, I know bandwagon effects was something that I had to really work through, not knowing that it's bandwagon effect. So thank God for learning these terms. But when it comes to when you're feeling like you're just always doing everything, because you got to be there. There's a birthday coming up,
Hmm.
I got to be there. There's this, I got to be there, because you're just so used to being there. That's what it means to be a good friend. That's what it means to be a good member of the family, to be there. That's the band
Mm.
calling you. Come on, let's go. Follow the drum of the beats. We gotta go.
The
Everybody gotta
band
show up.
is
I,
coming.
yeah, I was so exhausted. I remember, so this year was definitely the year of purposely saying no to things that
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to, but knowing that it takes a lot of my time and I can't anymore. I can't follow the band because I have different bands.
Right.
I
Excuse
have
me,
so many
pull the
different
wagon
bands.
over.
Like I can't, yeah.
Pull the
It's
wagon
like
over
I
right
got a
quick. I gotta
band.
get
I
out.
got a band. They're like, I can't hop on too many of them. Shoot. Yeah, it's exhausting. So you really got to learn when you're making like decisions. Are you making it based on you wanting to do it, or is it just because that's what the group is doing? You know, I had to
Period.
say no to awesome group invitations to travel, and I'm like, I just can't. First of all, does the band have money for me to travel? Or
Right. Public
does the band
service
have time
announcement,
to
you
give me
guys.
back? Because I can't earn my time back, and I need to use my time in a different way. You know,
Mm, period.
that the bandwagon effect. It really, when you're thinking, yeah, it sucks though, because that really was hard to learn how to even. I mean, not even learn. You have to. I think for the rest of our lives, you have to learn when to protect your own time and space
Yeah.
by cutting yourself off of the bandwagon sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Preach, sis.
Number 4 is choice supportive bias. So people have the tendency to defend themselves because it was their choice. Just because I made the choice, it must be right. For example, let's say a person buys an Apple product. Let's say it's a MacBook instead of a Windows PC. Well, he's more likely to ignore the downsides or the faults of the Apple computer while pointing out the downsides of the PC. He is more likely to notice the advantages of the Apple computer and not the Windows computer. Why would someone point out that they made a bad decision? Well, let's say you have a dog. You think it's awesome because it's your dog, although it might poop on the floor every now and then. The same goes for political candidates. Not the pooping part, but they both may suck. But one of the lesser of two evils may be more right in your mind because you voted for them.
Yeah, I had
Mm.
nothing nice to say about the pets thing either, but I'm gonna let you have it. I was
Mm.
raised in Africa where the pets belong outside, but yeah, I'm gonna let you have it.
And now you live in a country where pets go in your bed.
And I'm just like, oh, these things are cute. I get it. I support
Right.
your choices.
But this choice supportive bias even happens in the beauty industry.
Hmm
Like, if I go to a spa that has like a full service spa, has salon, everything, and my hair is done and my nails are done, but they do hair nails there. Who did your hair? Who did your nails? And well, next time you need to try our girl because yeah, let me see those. They instantly want to criticize, or maybe that's like the opposite side of this because they're talking about the users finding ways to like, I don't want to say big up. That's like such Toronto slang. Hold on. They want to
Mm-hmm.
find ways to like praise their service provider. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say I'm the customer in there, but oh, you don't know my nail lady, she's great. Like now I'm trying to like talk about her. I love the shape she does. She just takes time with me. But I don't know. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
speaking from the beauty industry side where I can see
Mm-hmm.
how this is really a thing, where it's like this salon versus that salon, or this provider versus that provider. It's a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, the salons that I've had bad service in, I don't go back there even if I know there's more than one employee. Like every salon that's messed up my nails and I didn't like it, I'm not going back there. But clearly it's a bias because it was just that one person that was working on it, you know?
Right, right.
Where it could have been somebody else doing a better job. So I get
Yeah.
that.
There's
Hmm.
a lot of criticism and stuff like that in the industry. Trust me,
Hmm.
it's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm like, is this how they teach y'all in the salon how to do this? I'm not coming back here.
No,
Because I'm
listen.
already awkward enough, I'm not going to check you, but I got to learn how to check people. Be like, did you fuck up my nails?
Right? You know what? It was hard for me too. And one day I was just like, um, is this looking a little wonky to you?
I
I
know. It's like you just suggest, I'm like,
maybe it's my eyes. I don't know.
I don't, yeah, like, I don't know if it's just me, but
Right. You got
I
to
was
kind of
so
like
afraid to
ease
tell
into
them.
it. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
another girl be like, bitch, you fucked my nail up. What is this?
Do it all again.
Give me back my money. Give me my money. Give me my money. I'm like, I gotta go. I
Oh
gotta
my
go.
God. Oh my God. That's so relevant to I've been a bride. I've had anyways, one of the brides that I was part of her wedding this year,
Mm-hmm.
the makeup is beautiful, but the technique just was not there, you know, because the shade was really off. And none of us opened our mouths to say it to the lady. We had to come up with this plan of like, oh, this was gonna like none of us said it. Just speaking of like how we aren't saying what's wrong with the service.
Right.
Because the girl just like looking like there was like a whole nonverbal communication on, oh my God, this is bad and I need the other makeup artist to come and fix it, which happened, you know, but verbally none of us said it.
Aw.
And this was
No
on the
one wants to
bride
hurt her
herself.
feelings.
Exactly, because the choice was already made. Like, okay, this is it.
Mhm. We going all in,
Yeah.
honey.
We're going all in as it's being done over like, ooh, yeah, let's bring it back, bring it back. But
Mhm.
anyways, so that's that. It was
Peace.
bad. We talk about this the whole time. Nonverbal communication. I mean, she even texted like SOS to somebody, you know.
Mhm.
Like it was obviously like, I don't like this, but I don't know how to say it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
But
funny.
luckily, yeah, thank God there was a second makeup artist who phenomenal, did a great
I'd be like, can I see your makeup for a second? Just do my
job.
own.
I mean, literally, she went and sat on the other makeup lady's chair to get
Oh,
for her to do the touch up.
oh,
Literally, because it was just like, nah, that's the bride. She
this
has
is
to go out there
right.
confidently.
This is a wedding day, honey. You ain't about to ruin this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I
Because we
support
will
that
hop on
choice,
the
but we're gonna get
bandwagon
specific. Mm-hmm.
and boycott you. Okay.
We will. Yeah.
Number 5, confirmation bias. We tend to listen to information that confirms what we already know, or even interpret the information that we receive in a way that confirms the current information that we already have. Let's say that your friend believes that sweets are unhealthy. This is generally a pretty broad belief. He will only focus on the information that confirms what we already know. He is more likely to click on videos that confirm that belief, or read articles that support his argument. He doesn't go through and type, positive health effects of increasing blood glucose levels, or positive effects of eating a bowl of ice cream. No, he will instinctively go to Google and type in, how bad is sugar for you? The confirmation bias is very dangerous in scientific situations, and is actually one of the most widely committed cognitive biases.
Yes. This is a big tactic used um in the plant-based community, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
But the things are facts. So it works in their favor because a lot of the stuff they're telling you is bad for you really is. So I'm not mad at this in that sense, like in that industry. Actually I am mad at it in that industry when it comes to like the plant-based processed foods because they kind of get the glitz and glam and take over. And then people tend to go in that direction and they become unhealthy and then say, F veganism. I'm not a vegan, by the way, but I'm just saying because I used to be. How do you
Yeah.
feel, Moon?
Well, I'm gonna confirm what you said because I was actually thinking about nutrition to that when they were talking before you even mentioned that. But it could be a good thing too. I was thinking like, oh, I mean, I because I do a lot of research on the benefits of that, benefits of this, and for me that confirmation makes me know, okay, well, I know I can use onions when I have really bad allergies, so that's good, or I know I can use this for that. So it helps me just add to my journey to nature and using natural medicine and food and everything. So I like that, but I can see how it can also lead you towards the wrong way of things as far as let's say when you somebody who take a drug at a certain time and they enjoy it that moment, so it's confirmation like I love this drug, it makes me feel good, so they do more and more of it, chasing that high and not getting
Mm-hmm.
quite to it. They want that confirmation from that first high. So that's
Yes.
how it works both ways, but this is definitely one, I think with all of these, it's just a matter of how it's being used, but bringing awareness to whether or not you're thinking that way is the more important thing, and how you're
Period.
using it. But they all can be
Exactly.
beneficial or detrimental, good or bad. Yeah, so confirmation, I use it all the time. Listen, I guess now I have to learn to research, oh, what are the bad effects of these things? I never really thought about that
Right.
for yeah, for the nutritional stuff. I always search the bad things of chemicals, but not the actual plants. I mean,
Plants are not bad.
yeah, it's not bad. But I guess the
I
only
mean,
good way of yeah, the only good way of all around doing the research on both sides is well, not only good, but the good thing about that is for individual purposes, say somebody is allergic to a certain plant or they have a
right.
certain condition. So knowing the negative of it, if it may react to, okay, well, somebody has high blood sugar, so they can't take this kind of plant. That's the good that comes out of that as well.
Right. Right.
Number 6, the ostrich bias. This is the decision, or rather subconscious decision, to ignore the negative information. It may also be an indication we only want to consider the positive aspects of something. This goes beyond not only looking for the positive information, but this is when there is negative information and we choose to ignore it as an outlier. Sometimes, even when we have a problem, we try to ignore it thinking it will go away. Let's say you have an assignment to do. It's not something that you really want to do, so you may just keep on procrastinating with it because your mind thinks that it'll go away or is solved by ignoring it. Smokers usually, they know it's bad for their health, but a lot of them keep ignoring the negative implications of cigarettes, thinking it will not damage them or might stop them before anything serious will happen, because they consider themselves an outlier. To avoid finding out negative information, we just stop looking for it. Now, this could be a serious crime in many scientific research laboratories, and basically promotes ignorance. Number 7.
No, I felt like this one.
I feel
I
judged.
feel attacked.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
highly attacked.
I'm picturing myself with my face, but an ostrich's body at this
Just
moment.
like no, hide it.
I'm an ostrich.
I'm an ostrich. Oh, what's behind me? Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, so y'all may okay, I don't think we can go when you ignore things, okay? This is when you ignore the facts of
Oh,
things.
we're being ostriches right now.
Yeah.
Listen.
Because it makes you feel better just not to know. Sometimes it's what doesn't know doesn't kill you sometimes.
Right.
Really.
Is that ignorance is
Sometimes
bliss?
it's really true. Yeah. Sometimes I want to
I'm
be blissful,
blissfully. Mm-hmm.
Listen, let me tell you, when I watch the news all the time, I'm sad. But when I don't, life is a little happier in that part of life. Like, oh, I don't think I need to know all the
Exactly.
death of
There you
people
go.
shouldn't. I don't think I need to know everything that's going wrong with people's lives right now because my little bubble is happy. My bubble is
Mm-hmm.
good.
I'm with the bubble.
Yeah. And sometimes it's okay. I'm gonna say it's okay sometimes to ostrich yourself. It's not always okay. I'm gonna be honest. It's not because, real life happens. But sometimes
Yeah.
it is, protect yourself.
For your
That's all.
practice. Yeah. Ostrich out.
Yeah, ostrich out. You know the pros and cons, yeah.
Number 7, outcome bias. We tend to judge the efficacy of a decision based primarily on how things turn out. After a decision is made, we rarely examine the conditions that existed at the time of the decision, choosing instead to evaluate performance solely or mostly on whether the end result was positive or not. In other words, you decide whether an action is right or wrong based on the outcome. This goes a little bit into consequentialism, but it goes hand in hand with the hindsight bias. Let's say there's a manager who wants to take the decision. His team and the data are telling him to make one decision, but his gut is telling him to make another decision. Well, he goes ahead and makes the decision that his gut told him to do. And then in the end, it was the right decision. Does that mean it's actually better to trust your gut rather than listen to your team who is advising you based on facts and statistics? Well, that's what the outcome bias is. You take the decision and base the effectiveness of your decision on the outcome, even if it was luck. Now, this is bad logical thinking and will actually lead you to ruined thinking and bad outcomes in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like outcome bias is what can kind of keep you doing things a certain way, even though you might need to change the approach because
Mm-hmm.
we're a little older now, or things situations are different. I don't know. I'm trying to think. The outcome is I have a relationship, but what kind of person is it that you're actually gonna get in a relationship with? So I think in my head, I know I was thinking that, but it's just like some people want a relationship so much they don't look at the person as whether or not the person is for them.
Yeah.
So I want a relationship and that's it. I want to get married and that's it. And then you realize like, dang, I got married just to get married and not really for the person. So it's
And the
just an
outcome
outcome
sucks.
based thing. Yeah.
Your
So it may
outcome's
not
looking
be,
bad, honey.
so it may not be, okay, I'm looking at somebody else's relationship and want to copy them, but it's more like, okay, well, I want a relationship and that's all I'm focusing on right now. I'm not focusing on the character, the person, all that stuff. And next thing you know, boom, you're in a relationship with somebody you don't even know. You're like, how did this happen?
Mhm. There's a stranger
Yeah,
in
like
the
so
house.
desperate for a relationship, you didn't even look at the in between. That's what I was thinking about.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, yeah, okay, you're not sure, but you get into it and then it ends up like bad, then you're like, oh, I'm a great decision maker. But if it, or sorry, I'm a horrible decision maker. But if it ends up good, then you're like, I'm a great decision maker. But it's
Oh, okay.
same thing. Yeah. Because I
Okay,
guess
I
it's
see,
really
I
like, yeah, how it
see.
ends
Because the
up
outcome
based
is a
off of the
good
decision.
outcome. I see, I
Yeah.
see. It's a good outcome out of, okay, I see.
Whether,
So
yeah,
that
it just
definitely probably
depends
was
on what
not a
the
good
outcome
example.
is. Something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah. So
Like I
whether
know
or
what it
not
is, but I guess I can't think of an example right now.
no, but I understand where you're going. I think it I think I know exactly what you're saying. That's why I think I'm just clarifying it because
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, yeah, I want a relationship so bad, right? And you get in the relationship, but the bias is what comes after. So that relationship can end really bad. And you could be like, yo, fuck it. Every next time I say I want somebody, I'm not going to be with them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to be with someone I don't want to be with. You know what I mean? Because the outcome was
Right.
bad because their feeling led them there.
You know what? I think outcome bias works really well for narcissists because narcissists just think that they make the best decisions ever, no matter who they trample over, no matter who they bulldozer over, no matter what
Mm.
destroyed. They are the best visionaries, and yeah, how dare you just don't support them? How dare you?
Like you, okay? Because
No.
public service
Yeah.
announcement: Muna is not okay with narcissists.
Just sorry, I got pulled into. I'm sorry. I got
No
pulled into some memory that. Whew, okay, coming back. I'm back. I'm back, y'all.
PTSD
Yeah,
moment.
a little PTSD moment right there. But yeah, I think outcome bias is very much seen with narcissists. Hey,
Mm.
I have narcissistic ways too, so I'm not saying I don't see it in me, but I'm just saying.
She's just saying.
Mm-hmm. Narcissists. Everything you decide. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. What can we tell you? What we gonna tell you? We can't tell you nothing. Mm-mm.
Nope.
I
Can't
ain't gonna
tell
tell you shit.
us.
You know the best. You the best.
Number 8, overconfidence. Sometimes you get too confident and start taking decisions not based on facts, but based on your opinion or gut because you have been correct so many times in the past. For example, You are a stock trader and you pick 5 stocks, and in a couple years, all of them turn out to be successful or profitable. It increases your confidence to a point to where you can start believing that whatever stock you pick will be successful. It's quite dangerous because you might stop looking at the facts and solely rely on your opinion. Check out the gambler's fallacy if you want more information on this. Just because you flipped a coin 5 times and it landed on heads doesn't mean that the next time there's more than a 50% chance of it landing on a head again. Ego is the Enemy is a great book about this bias, and I just made a book review on it.
That whole you think you're gonna know the outcome because it's always been the same way. Like I'll say, for example, maybe in relationships, like you're uncertain, so you leave somebody, and then you realize, oh, I don't want to leave them, and then you come back, and then you leave again, and then you come back because you think, oh, they're gonna take me back again. Like,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's like it's a cycle. Like that could be a big bias, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm,
That's
I'm
true.
trying to think. I'm trying to think, and yeah, the gamblers thing that he said. You know, it's like you're hitting that machine, and you keep going, going, going. It's like when I play the bells on Bigo. I'll be like having a winning streak, and then I'm like, one more. My intuition's telling me no, but I'm like, no, I'm on a winning streak. Then I go, and it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
And the whole
It's
time
that.
you're losing money. You're just thinking, I'm gonna
Mhm.
win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win. Yeah.
Oh man, ego is the enemy, though. It is. I don't
Huh?
like ego. I said ego is the enemy for real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ego.
I had to dismantle mine because I had to really just open up my eyes and see things for what it really was, and
Mm-hmm.
not what my ego is telling me.
Number 9. Placebo bias. When you believe something will have a certain effect on you, then it will actually cause that effect. For instance, you are sick and the doctor gives you a certain medicine. Even if that medicine does not actually help you, even if it's just made of sugar, you believe that it will help you, and it actually causes you to recover quicker. This might not sound very logical, but dozens of experiments have proven this. That's why, if you realize positive people usually have positive life, and vice versa. The way you think is super important, and we've hit on this in previous videos. For the same reason, a lot of personal development books say that if you really believe something, you will eventually achieve it, or at least find a way to achieve it. Because the placebo effect will give you the motivation that you need. The mind truly is a powerful thing. And this actually isn't always bad thinking. In fact, you can use the placebo effect in our advantage if we use it wisely. There's actually a reverse of this, and it's called the nocebo, and this is when it is negative.
Placebo effect will give you motivation, and it's about your mind, what your mind affects in the outcome of something. To me, that's very close to what manifestation is when you use affirmations, and really get into your mind. Or manifestation is also, I don't know, placebo effect to me is like a form of manifestation in a way,
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, if I think this is going to happen, for me, what it does, okay, it's with your mind, your thoughts. And part of that for me is using those thoughts in what's in your mind to actually do something towards what you want the outcome to be,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
instead of actually realizing that that's what's happening, you just think like, oh wow, look at all of a sudden, like, no, you actually were thinking something, and then in reaction, I don't know, maybe you started eating a little better. So that medication that you took, that's a placebo, you actually just, I don't know, because in your mind you're thinking about to get better, you physically started doing things different
Yeah.
to want to get better. And look at that. I don't know. To me, that's how manifestation works. Manifestation is thoughts and action.
Yes. I just equate the placebo effect though to like maybe, and anybody in the manifestation world, don't come for me because I still do it, but quantum physics.
Mm.
Can
Oh.
I, yeah, like doing that whole speaking into your water and then drinking a thing, like I feel like it's equivalent
Mm-hmm.
because you have to get a feeling. And then I don't know, I think drinking water puts you in a good mood. Like I feel like there's things behind what it does, which is what causes it to work for the manifestation.
I mean, there was even a I don't know what I was watching, but about a place in India that's very holy, the water area, but it could also be when people go there, they do pray. and they go there for healing and things like that. So that vibration of what you're speaking could be going in the water. I haven't looked into it, to be honest. I'm just speaking based off of what I've heard and not research.
And for
and what I've
that,
seen. Yeah.
yeah,
And what kind of makes sense, because when you're praying, that's a speaking onto the water, and that's a water area. And so
right.
imagine that many people go in there and doing all this speaking, these prayers, this healing conversations. Like, yeah.
Number 10, survivorship bias. This bias is when you are judging something based on the surviving information. Let me give you an example here. There are a lot of articles titled like, 5 things millionaires do every morning. Does that mean doing those things every morning will make you a millionaire? No, there are tons of people who did them and didn't become a millionaire, but there are also tons of people who did them and did become a millionaire. So these articles are primarily based on the ones who survived and reject all other peoples who did the same thing but did not become millionaires. Another example is to say that buildings in an ancient city were built using extreme engineering because they lasted so long. This is a bad conclusion because you aren't considering what ratio of buildings were built to how many that lasted. You're only seeing the ones that lasted thousands of years of weathering, when the other 90% have already washed away. It's hard to know what you don't know.
So when I heard that for the first time when you sent me the video, I immediately was like, oh wait, is he coming for our accountability group? Because I'm just like, we're following guidelines and it's kind of shaped around the things that they like, things millionaires do. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. That was my thought.
I'm just my business. Oh wow.
For our accountability group.
He is coming for us.
That's okay. Come
it's
along.
Okay. We're gonna be part of that survivorship. And regardless, for us, that's not the end goal, but it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me not play myself. Actually, let me be intentional. That is the end goal. To be honest, so we can do it with what's it called? Also feeling doing the spiritual work as well along the way. So, but I mean, yeah, the whole millionaire thing, because there's a lot of people who haven't. I mean, all the businesses that haven't worked out.
Right. Won't be us. Sorry.
No, it won't. It's not going to.
Right.
Number 11, selective perception. I like this one. Selective perception is a form of bias that causes people to perceive messages and actions according to their frame of reference. Using selective perception, people tend to overlook and forget that contradicts their beliefs or expectations. Let's say, for example, you're a smoker and you're a big fan of soccer. You are more likely to ignore all the negative advertisements about cigarettes because since you are already smoking, you have this perception that it's okay to smoke. But if there's an advertisement about soccer, you are more likely to notice it because you have a very positive perception about it. This is actually something really interesting and has to do with how you perceive the world due to your subconscious mind and what it filters out.
Yeah, the more you like, if you like something, or for a person, when you like somebody, you notice how you tend to filter out the other things a lot easier. And we know this in relationships. Any kind of relationship, but particularly the romantic ones, when it first gets started, that what's it called? What's that phase? The honeymoon phase?
Yeah.
You don't see nothing. So many ways. Oh yes, I have done this. I have very much been honeymoon phased. And it was fun. It's nice. But yeah, it's crazy. But wild. Yeah, the more you enjoy something or you like them, a person, you just don't pay attention. You may see it, it's there.
Right. But you're just like, ignore the signs.
Just filtering it out. Filter.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm kind of okay with that sometimes.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I don't really have a problem with this. I was saying earlier, I don't have a problem. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's like me and my ganja.
Like I don't.
And the act of rolling it up and all that good stuff. I can't really get into it. Oh God. Okay.
And it does help you with focus and faith and believing you can really do something no matter what. Signs can tell you not. Yeah. Like say if you really want to do something and then you keep it doesn't work out in certain ways, instead of giving up, this selective perception can be like, no, I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna just try a different way, you know?
Exactly. Period.
Mm-hmm.
We are for this selective
We
perception.
allow it. We allow it.
Yeah.
The last one is called the Blindspot Bias. If I asked you how biased you are, you would probably say that you are less biased than the average person, and you are more likely to base your judgment on facts and statistics, and that's what's known as a blind spot bias, or the bias bias. You are biased because you think that you are less biased than everyone else. For example, I gifted something to my teacher, and the next week she gave me a good grade on a test. If you ask her whether she was biased when she gave me that grade, the answer will be that the gift never affected her decision when marking my paper. But if you ask her if other teachers are biased when students give them gifts, she will say yes, in most cases. And that's what the blind spot bias is. I really enjoyed creating this video, but most of the content was curated by my friend Ismanov. He's got a channel similar to mine, and I'd like you to check it out here or in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. If you want more valuables like this, check out my... For example, I gifted something to my teacher, and the next week she gave me a good grade on a test, in most cases. And that's what the blind spot bias is. Other teachers are biased when students give them gifts. She will say yes, in most cases. And that...
Yeah, so this one, I feel a little called out because I have said that I'm not biased, but it's okay. This is one of those on reality ones. Okay, listen, we all bias ourselves. I wouldn't say we all, because I don't want to be the only one.
I'll join you, Muna.
Yes. Damn, I haven't thought about it that way, but it's true. It's true. Yes, I am biased. But it's okay. I'm gonna own it, you know, because you got to be biased to really identify yourself. You can't be everything and think for everything and everyone all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, because being unbiased means what you really have to have an understanding of the other point of views all the time, and that I do that, but it doesn't mean I have to agree.
Right. What? Period.
But I was laughing though, because what I was laughing at was because of the teacher one. I know for a fact. I don't want to. I want to say two, but I just want to say I'm for sure. At least there was one class in high school where I passed, but I did not take a final exam.
Girl,
the teacher allowed
that
it
is so
because I'm
funny.
so involved. I'm such a good example.
Similar
Hey,
experience.
I feel like
That's
I
amazing.
earned it.
That's
Wait,
amazing.
You too?
Oh my God. Can I tell you?
Mhm.
On my graduation day in the morning, the guidance counselor called me and was like, hey, can you come to the school like before grad? You're short one credit and I need you to get it. So just come and what he's just like, just write a quick little write up, like something quick. He's like, and we'll get your stuff going. And I'm like, what? And so I just did, and I got my credit because I never did. I didn't even do the class basically. So he just, and I think it's because I did so well. Because I don't know if I told you, but I got kicked out of school, and so basically
Yeah.
I had no, I didn't have the amount of credits I needed, but the year before graduation, I did like a lot of credits that year. I did night school. I think I did an online course, and then I did alternative education, where it's like you can do your courses very condensed. It's like fast track. In one period, like you're working on, like, I'm sorry, in 1 week, like you're finishing a course or something like that, but just out of a work and testing. So yeah, I didn't even do this class, and I think that was a bias thing because like I feel like I had a few friends that never graduated on time with me because they were probably like a couple credits short. Like they could have had the opportunity to get that, but it wasn't given to them because they weren't it.
They just,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
my love. if you hear me and you feel attacked, it's just what it is. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
anymore. High
it's
school don't
about
matter.
it don't matter, but relationships do. It really does. Y'all got to be good with building relationships. And I didn't even really think I was that good with building relationships, to be honest. But for some reason, maybe I was a teacher's pet. I didn't feel like I was, but maybe naturally I am.
Oh my God, says the owner of Kikiing. She is so good at building relationships, you guys. Don't listen to her. She just thinks she's being humble.
Oh,
You're
dang.
such a good relationshipper.
I just judge myself, I guess, harder than I think.
Definitely.
Yep, you know what? Bias is okay, just how you use it, Just don't let bias ruin your life conditions. That's for
Right.
you to figure out. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm gonna be biased in certain ways, but I'm gonna be, what's it called? Aware of how I use it.
Exactly. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
And we're free to do what we want.
Mm-hmm. And if you can pass a class and not do everything that's required of the class, why not? You earned it.
Goodbye. That's like someone saying, hey, you know what? I like the way you look. I want to give you $1 million. And you're like, no, I look horrible. I don't deserve it. Are you dumb? You're going to take that $1 million. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we just want to say thank you for tuning in again to another episode of the Kikiing podcast, where we reacted to 12 cognitive biases, which is really cool. And thank you, Muna, for suggesting that. It really did stretch my brain and make me just have to look inward, as usual. A little bit of shadow work, on a cognitive level. So that was cool.
Yep.
But you guys, share your thoughts with us. Let us know. Do you have any of these cognitive biases? Do you practice them? Are you guilty of any of them? Or do you just accept the ones that you rock with? And that's that. Let us know. We'll have a post up in regards to this video. So just hit the comment section, share your thoughts, and then share it to your stories so that other people can see us. Because don't keep us all to yourselves.
Exactly. Share us. Do not keep us. This is the one thing you don't be selfish in, okay? Selfishness is okay for self-care, but don't be selfish with this.
Right.
Be fruitful ground.
Fatal.
But what was I gonna say? And also please go to kikiing.com and also go to habitsofbeauty.com, and there you can follow our social medias and our other different pages that we have across YouTube's, Instagram, and everything. So kikiing.com and habitsofbeauty.com. I am the owner of kikiing.com, and Queenie is the owner of habitsofbeauty.com. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sure go to those websites. That's where our home is for you guys. Yeah, come and follow us. Follow the leader, follow the leader.
Yeah.
Follow the leader, follow the leader.
Bye, y'all.